My name's Gaby. I need to be smaller. All the doctors are too tall. I am a junior, or third year, as Canadians put it. And so I made a presentation on how I transitioned from high school to college and all the struggles we went through. And I made it a 4-step process. So step 1 is college selection. So I really wanted to go to University of Delaware to study food science, and we visited, and it was awesome. And they have a creamery there, and I was like, yes, I'm going to get fat from ice cream. But I also got accepted into Rutgers, and Rutgers is 45 minutes from my house, and when living in New Jersey, you're like, Rutgers. I mean, everywhere else it's a great university, but it's like, you're like, everyone goes there. And so I had a very long conversation with my parents and arguments and tears, but they were like, you're going to Rutgers. And I'm like, okay. And because I understood why I had to go, but I still didn't want to. And so I gave in and went to Rutgers. The second step is when you get there, it's not just moving into your dorm and meeting your roommate. You have to actually, before you get there, contact your disabilities office, make an appointment, and with your parents, and you have to talk to them about all of your needs, tell them everything. For me, they were like, okay, you need special time for your exams? I'm like, no, I don't need that. So it's like, go through this whole list of things I don't need. But I'm just like, if I go to the hospital, I'll be missing days of school, and I don't want to lose credit for a class. And when you miss 2 days of college class, it's not like missing 2 days of high school. You fall so far behind, it's not even funny. And so we made up a agreement and a letter, and then I had to go to each of my professors and talk to them about it and have them sign, and they were okay with it. The only problem is you get a new professor every semester, and so you have to do the same thing every semester, and so that's a little annoying, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And then you meet your roommate, and you don't want to scare them. Say, I have this chronic disease, but don't worry, I'm fine. So what we did is we made what we call emergency kit. So as my emergency shot, we made an emergency letter, just in case anything happens. Then paramedics come, you give them this letter, say everything you need and what you need to do. And the parents must talk to each other and exchange numbers as well, just in case anything happens. I think all of my roommates have my parents' phone number in their phone. And they have had to use it, too, a couple times, much to my dismay. But it does come in handy, and being on the same basis with both parents and roommates and knowing what to do. And then you must take a trip to the school infirmary and talk to the PA there and go through the whole thing. Give them your emergency letter, and just so they know if you ever come in that you're not just the average person. They're like, okay, I'll give you this, you'll be fine, because that's what a lot of them do. And you're like, no, you don't understand. And then you make an appointment with your RA, or I don't know if they have that here in Canada, but it's a resident advisor. They live on the same floor as you, and you go to them with roommate problems and all that stuff. And they're like your mom of the floor, or dad if it's a boy. And so you have to talk to them, give them your emergency letter too. You got to make a lot of copies of that letter, and to say if anything happened, like exchange numbers with them too. And if anything happens, they'll be your mom or dad. And again, emergency letter. You need to have a lot of those. Step 3 is dorm life. And so this is when your parents say bye, and you're like there, and you're like, okay, now what do I do? And so the first thing my mom always told me was people equal germs. And on your on your floor, you have 20 plus of these people, and so you're like 20 people, one person, I don't know how many germs, 20 people over 3 million germs, I don't know. And so you always have to have Purell on hand everywhere in your book bag in your room, and you hear someone down the floor gets something, you're like, okay, I'll stay in my room for this time to this time. You're going out this time? Okay, I'm not going out that time. And you try your hardest, but you still catch everything on the floor. I think my freshman year, I had two times or three times of pneumonia. 2 times I had pneumonia. That wasn't fun. And colds, like Carrie said, constant cold. My second point is sleep. So you're used to at home maybe going to bed 10:30, 11. Well, in college, your whole floor is active until 2 in the morning. And so you don't notice that time's going by because the lights are on, people are talking, opening doors, gossiping, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I have class at 8 a.m. And I had problems with that, and so you just gotta shut the door and say, sorry guys, night, and go to bed, because we all know that sleep brings us down and you get sick. The next one doesn't really have to do much with the disorder, but just adapting to college life. I would go to all the dorm events, even if they sound stupid. I had a dorm event where it was required to get dressed up in like a fancy dress and heels, and we went all downstairs to just like a cocktail hour, and we talked to each other, and it was fun. It's like, oh, we're gonna get all dressed up, and everyone's doing their makeup. And my last point for step 3 is be open to everyone. It's not high school anymore. There's no more cliques. To go along with this point, my friend, one of my really good friends, and her name's Julianne, she went to my high school, and we had AP Bio together, and I was like, I didn't really know her, and it's like she went with this clique, I went with that clique, and now she's like one of my best friends, and she's super crazy and weird, but I love her. And so my 4th step is the reason we go to college is for academics. Even though you want to party, you go to learn. So the first, luckily, well, in my school, they made your schedule for you for your first semester because you don't know what you're doing. But the second semester is when you have to make your own schedule. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but your RA or residence assistants will help you, and also you have to talk to some upperclassmen. Because really what makes the class is the professor. Because I remember I had pre-calc. I hated pre-calc. But my professor was awesome and always told these stories. And so that's why I kind of liked pre-calc a little bit. So you try and make a schedule that works for you. And second point is workload management. So when you have these classes, now you have to figure out how you're going to do all these classes on top of maybe some clubs you're going to join, and going out with your friends at night. And so I know one of my friends is not a good example of this, and we had a class where we had to write a research paper, 10 pages, and she did it all the night before. She did the outline, the writing some of the stuff, and finished it by 8 a.m., and it was due at 10 a.m. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never be able to do that. And so good kudos to her, but I would not recommend that. And my third point is naps. So you make this schedule and you see where in the schedule you might have some downtime. This is where I would recommend, I know it's like little kid or older people do naps, but no, we love naps. Especially if you want to go out late at night with your friends and go to the movies or go to a party or something. This is where this comes in handy, because then you can stay out late because you're like, I got that extra 3 hours, I'm okay. Last minute tips, take care of yourself. When you go to college, you see, oh my gosh, all this food, and got the French fries and the mozzarella sticks, and yeah, that's great, but if you eat all that, you know how it impacts our body, and sometimes our body doesn't like that food, and so you can get run down from that. Working out, try and put it in there every once in a while, because the freshman 15 is real. My friend got a freshman 25. Yeah. Second one is find and choose the right people. There are people out there, I remember my first few weeks, you're friends with everybody, because everybody's like, I want to make friends, so we're all going to be friendly. And I hung out with these girls, and they really like to party, and went out to party at Thursday. It's called Thirsty Thursday. It's when you start. And you go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then kind of rest and do a little work on Sunday. And I'm like, I can't hang with you. I'm struggling here. And so I chose actually really nerdy and geeky friends, but I love them. They all love Doctor Who and Pokemon, but they're really fun to be around. Third point, charge your phone. I didn't have my phone charged once, and it died, and I got like a voicemail from my dad. Where are you? What are you doing? It's just not good, especially when you're have a problem. You need your phone. I don't know what you guys did without phones. I'm sorry. Phones, instant messenger, yeah. The fourth point is know where your local hospital is. I'm lucky. Mine's like 2 minutes from my dorm. And so the ambulance comes and takes me there. I've been here a few times, made a couple friends already. But yeah, it's very good to know that. And also know if you have 2 hospitals in your town, which one's the better one to go to. Like they say, you want to go to this one? No, I want to go to Robert Wood Johnson, not St. Joseph's. And most importantly, have fun. I know it's hard with our disorder to have fun, but you just do it, and you take your meds on time. You bring them with you when you need to. I know I'm on the shot, and sometimes we go to movies, me and my friends, and it's a late movie, and so I have to take my shot with me, and my friend's like, oh my gosh, you already took it? And I'm like, yeah, it's a piece of cake, I got it. And so yeah, that's it.